What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. So I've been noticing I'm done with the 90s. I'm done with the 80s. I've been noticing a lot of those videos where individuals providing commentary over NBA bloopers from superstar players in the 80s and 90s, right? And the person is trying to use these bloopers to say that the 80s and 90s were full of trash players who were really not as great as today's players, and that, their dominance in the 80s and 90s is like exaggerated, or it is not really as great as people make it out to be. Do I agree with those videos? Absolutely not. Some of the greatest players in NBA history came through the 80s and 90s. You got Dr. J, you got Michael Jordan, you got Scottie Pippen, you got Larry Bird, you got Magic Johnson, you got Isaiah Thomas, you got so many great all-time, Dominique Wilkins, all these pantheon great players that came through these eras. And bloopers happen anytime, bro. Today's generation of players have bloopers, and it's highlighted on a segment of a show called Shaq'd and a Fool, where we discuss all the bloopers of current players. JaVale McGee, all these people are repeat offenders, right? And so I think that it's dangerous to the game. Not dangerous. I feel like it's disrespectful to the game to try to say that some of the pantheon greats aren't that good because of the bloopers that they have. Like, is exaggerated and over the top, right? However, I want to make this point. See, the older generation is the blame for this. And I know I'm going to lose a lot of people by saying this. The older generation started this to me by trying to invalidate today's stars, right? What do I mean by that? So many people that I know say things like LeBron James would be mediocre in the 80s and 90s, which is a falsehood. It's a fallacy. It's not the truth at all. I seen Dennis Rodman saying LeBron would be average in his era. Shout out to the great Dennis Rodman, Hall of Fame player, great all-time great defender, all of that, right? LeBron James is fucking Dennis Rodman up. Hard fouling LeBron, if that's what you're going to resort to, good luck. In LeBron's youth, he was jumping higher than everybody. He came in 2003 in the still tough guy era. He was jumping over them. I'm talking about flying by them like a locomotive, right? They could not stay in front of him. They couldn't contain him. He was jumping over dude's head. He was dunking on everybody, and their mama, all the tough guys was getting posterized. There was nothing they could do to stop that freight train. So Dennis Rodman, if he believed that, good luck, brother. Brother, you would be on a lot of highlight reels. You would foul LeBron and hard foul him, but he would adapt it in his era like people like the older, like the stars of yesteryear would have adapted to today's game. They would have. Great stars adapt through anything. LeBron is a pantheon great. He would have adapted. Hard fouling all you want to, he would have found a way to still be dominant in that because he was just bigger, stronger, more athletic than everybody else. Don't bring up JJ Barea, because that gets exaggerated as far, JJ Barea was just defending him. Like, really, LeBron was getting in his own head because he was letting that whole thing of, you never won a championship, you're going to be a failure, get to him. The next year after that, we seen LeBron, in the regular season, he was dominant. You know what I mean? But the older generation started that. Saying dudes like Steph Curry would be role players in their era. Saying dudes like, Kevin Durant wouldn't hardly be effective in their era. The older generation started this mess. And so the younger generation, to defend their era of basketball, you've seen these TikTok videos of them criticizing 80s and 90s basketball. Is it right? No, it's not. But I recognize where it came from. The older generation throwing salt on the younger guys. And it happens a lot in basketball, where the older generation, in boxing too, the older generation like shits on the younger guys a lot. The older fan bases trash the younger guys a lot instead of just appreciating the greatness that we see today. And so the younger generation feel like, hold on, wait a minute, I got to defend my era of what I'm seeing. And I gotta go pull up these older dudes and see what they was hooping like. And that's what happened. That's what has happened for real, man. And so it's resorted in a push and pull and tug from the older generation to the new generation and the current generation. And so I feel like that's been a problem for years. The older generation and the younger generation of men do not get along well. The older generation likes to point out how they had more hardships in their era, how they were more dominant, how they were more physical, how they were more manly than the older generation. And while some of those things could be true for sure, it feels like you're denigrating the younger people. You're trashing them, you're belittling them, you're making them feel inferior. So when you do that, there are going to be people who feel like, wait a minute, no. I got to defend mine, so now I'm going to trash yours. I'm going to trash your era. I'm going to trash your generation of people. And it really is, the 80s and 90s basketball is the fight between the young generation and the new generation. And a lot of times I feel like the older generation does not foster an environment to where the older and younger generation can get along. The older generation, a lot of them, we call them old haters. My uncle used to say that. A lot of them just shit on everything young. Y'all, now granted, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff of the current generation too, right? But there are a lot of things that I feel like is dope about the younger generation. I think it's dope that the young generation has found a way to monetize YouTube channels and get money off social media and off social networks and off video gaming, and they found a way to enhance their financial opportunities. They found a way to grow their prosperity in a way that the older generation may have not had the knowledge to do so. And I think it's really dope. You got people trashing social media influencers. Now, again, I can see you trashing them for making terrible content and stuff. But you got people that's trashing people just for being social media influencers. What the fuck is that? Get a real job. If the brother is pulling in 6 figures a year, making social media content, brother, keep doing that shit. You're doing something right. It's people that went to school, getting degrees, not getting 6 figures. Like myself. Okay, so I'm never going to fault the younger generation for finding out ways to get money, off of their abilities, off their speaking skills, off of their likeness or whatever. I'm never going to fault that. But it's like a push and pull between the younger and older generation. And the older generation started that, y'all players wouldn't have been good during my time stuff. And so now you see it now. Russell Westbrook and them couldn't have played in my era and all this and all of that. And, these dudes, and Russ doesn't have the highest IQ. But physically, he's more physically imposing than a lot of players in that era. He's more stronger, faster. And so he would have found a way to be effective, would have found a way to be a very productive NBA player in that era. And yeah, I think it's just the younger generation feels slighted a lot by the older generation. And when you feel slighted and you feel like you're slighted and you're beat upon with being slighted all the time, they're going to push back. And they're going to push back in an ugly way that will belittle people that you looked up to, even though I feel like it's wrong. I feel like there are bloopers in any era of basketball, but it's going to be like people are going to be like, man, listen, young folks going to be like them old dudes always trashing us, talking about we ain't this and we ain't that. Our generation can't do this, can't do that. We going to show you Michael Jordan losing the ball when he go left. We going to show you Larry Bird passing the ball out of bounds, losing the ball on a fast break. We going to show you, I don't know, I'm just naming people. We're going to show you Dominique Wilkins not being able to throw a lob right or whatever. I'm just naming people. So, yeah. I think that's what happens when you got the younger generation and the older generation are at odds with each other. You're going to get disrespectful remarks and content made on both sides, and things get out of hand. So this just speaks to the younger generation and older generation needing to repair their relationship and build a bridge to where the bridge it's really a bridge and not a bridge to come across that bridge and shit on each other. You know? That's just me. Machiavelli Mills TV. I'm out. Peace.